GPS is GiGi's personal services. She's an RV expert with over 3 decades of experience. Visit thervadvisor.com today.
Little birdie told me I'd need RV advice.
Get information straight from the horse's mouth.
Little birdie told me I'd need RV advice.
It's Just Ask GiGi with Gigi Stetler and Tom Alexander. Now here's Gigi and Tom.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Just Ask GiGi. My name is Tom Alexander, and as always, I am joined by the one, the only. There she is.
Hi.
Gigi Stedler. Hey, Gigi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. And it's
No rain for the moment.
is it raining? Did you say?
No, I said no rain.
Oh, no
moment.
rain. Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny because I'm looking out my window here, and no rain, but it's getting pretty windy and cloudy. So I think that might be a harbinger of a few sprinkles here. We'll see. I don't know.
I'm so over the rain.
Yeah. But you know what? We're finally starting to get into our cooler evenings here in South Florida. And,
I know.
Took a nice long walk with my son last night, and I got to tell you, it was terrific.
I know, it was exciting. This morning, actually, when I went to let the dog out, I was in my summer PJs, and I was like, oh, I feel like. So, of course, I put the leather jacket on, because I was so excited, and now I'm hot. So,
yeah.
but I was wishful thinking.
No, it's funny, we move here to Florida. So many of us move here to Florida for the weather and the warm weather to escape the cold, and then we can't wait for it to cool off, right?
But we're talking Florida cold, not.
Yeah, Florida cold is
not
like
up
60s.
north cold.
No, right. It depends on what part of the state you're in, but usually if you're in the Miami area, you're talking not very cold. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
So obviously, as always, lots going on over at HQ, and I know that. Look, this being the real busy season now, things are really picking up with RV sales and rentals and everything else.
It actually is supposed to be slowing down. This is, when the winter's coming, people are, putting their units in storage and stuff like that, and it's not slowing down.
No, it's not. It's a special season, I guess you could say. It's probably because of COVID, largely because of COVID. People, are getting away, if you will, and trying to, do it in a safe way, in a safe, sensible way.
Exactly.
And so RVs make complete sense.
Yeah, for so many reasons. I actually had, we have so many different customers that come in these days, and I try to talk to all of them just because I'm curious to see what they're, what brought them here, what brought them to look at RVs when they're not typical RVers, and like so many different stories. And like, for instance, I had 2 families this week where one, the kids are having to go to, virtual school, and half virtual. They're in college now, and half virtual and half like 2 days a week going to school. Mm-hmm. So the parents don't feel, safe with the kids kind of in and out of the house. So they bought a 2-bedroom camper to put in the yard, to put the daughters in the yard. So in the camper, so that they're isolated. So that's a great idea, because that's a risk when you send your kids to school, or, they're out working and they're in an environment that's a bit risky, so just trying to spread, if you've got a household of 6 to 8, 10, whatever, it's gives you options. So, and it's way cheaper than building, and you have some resale value on it, when this is all over. So anyway, so I thought that was kind of interesting and a good use for an RV.
Yeah, that's for sure. Which sort of, segues into our, next topic, which is GPS. And GPS stands for GiGi's Personal Services. Now, what does that have to do with what we just talked about? A lot, because here's the thing. You're maybe new to RVing or something like that, and you've got questions, and you're always going to have questions before you make any kind of a purchase of this magnitude. Certainly, you do it for smaller things. You buy a dishwasher, and you want to know a lot about it, right? Well, an RV is a little bigger than a dishwasher, so you want to know exactly what you're getting into, contract wise. Whether let's say you buy a used unit. You want to know about warranties, all that stuff, contractual stuff. but beyond that, good advice from a technical standpoint or price points, any of that. GiGi's personal services, right?
Yes, I feel really good today. I've actually had I've been quite busy this week with new members and GPS clients, and the most rewarding thing for me, and I'm 3 for 3 this week. Well, actually all of them, but my 3 for 3 this week. The most rewarding thing for me is, wow, I can't believe this was so worth my $350, and I learned so much, and I had no idea about this and no idea about that, and thanking me up and down, but they get me for the rest of the year. But I think I help them kind of narrow the search, because I ask the questions of basically what is your purpose for the RV, things that you don't even ask yourself, the questions, what's the purpose, how many are you sleeping, and this and that, and and just I'm working with a client right now, and the salespeople that are selling these RVs right now, since it's so busy, they're hiring salesmen that have sold cars and boats or whatever, and have never sold an RV, and they don't know anything. So now here we have the newbie RVer trying to buy something from the newbie salesman. So, and it's a recipe for disaster. So this particular client that I'm working with through right now as we speak, he was in the market and he had narrowed down his search after I spoke with him before to a Grand Design, and Grand Design makes a good product. And I can't really tell you that one product is better than the other, or one has less problems, because it still always goes back to the selling dealer of how well they take care of you.
Yeah.
If you have a problem, because you will have a problem. So, keep that in mind. I can't say, oh, this one's better than that one. It still has to, it boils down to the dealer. So anyway, long story short, this particular member, so he's narrowed it down. And I don't get too much involved in the actual price. I will just tell you if it's a fair price. I'm not looking to beat the dealer up and negotiate down to where he has no profit and he can't service you. That's not what we're doing here. But, I took an average of what they're selling for across country. And I said, yes, that's a fair price. Get them to, see if you can get them to include these few items. And the one first most important thing that I always talk about is a complete seal, because these campers do not come with caulking from the factory. So on the roof or the windows and the door seams, gas, nothing. So they may have some Dicor around the vents and stuff just to keep the rubber down, but that, could be spotty, and it could have been manufactured 6-7 months ago or longer. So anyway, he had negotiated with the dealer, and he got the dealer to do, and he put on the buyer's order, seal the roof. And I said, well, what about the rest of it? So he called the dealer back and he said, what about the rest of it? And the dealer says, oh, everything else is perfect. The roof looked like it needed, a few, didn't look like it was sealed from the factory, but the rest, the sides, everything else is fine.
Right.
So I said, no, that's not possible. I said, first of all, they have to put some kind of caulking and Dicor on the roof because the rubber would fly off. So that's not anywhere remotely true.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, let's call Grand Design and see what they say, because I'm trying to tell him to tell the dealer that, no, it needs a complete seal, and the dealer's arguing that, no, it's perfect. So the customer calls Grand Design, and sure enough, they say, oh, no, there's no sealant on that unit. It needs to be sealed every 90 days.
Oh.
So,
Oh, jeez.
and so FYI, everybody out there, some dealers will tell you you have to seal a unit within 90 days of purchase without a doubt, or you will void your factory warranty. And that's without a doubt, 90 days. But I never, it's so unclear what it says in the warranty about 90 days after purchase. Does that mean the retail purchase, or does that mean when the dealer purchased it? Because sometimes they're sitting on the lot already past 90 days with no caulking on it. So, these are things. And then from there, if the dealer didn't seal it when it came in, and you can look at the manufacturer's date, which I can tell you where to find that. If you look at that and it's been sitting there for longer than 90 days and there's no caulking, now we've got to do an inspection to look for water seepage to make sure that no water has come in, in between the time that it was manufactured past the 90 days, as far as, how long it's been sitting there. So long story short, he's heading to the dealer now, and he's going to FaceTime me when he gets there. So he's going to go over the whole unit, the sides and the corners and everything, so I can see what's missing, and I can educate the dealer that there's no caulking on it, that it's just putty tape.
Yeah. So again, we say this, all the time. Why wait until you've got an issue and then you've got to pay through the nose?
Or hire me after, and then I can't get you out of it.
And then you can't, or exactly, or it's what's the old saying? You close the barn doors after the horse has been stolen.
After the horse is gone.
Right, so you don't want to do that. So with GPS, with GiGi's Personal Services, here's your opportunity to retain your services, GiGi, for an entire year, and the price is right, $350. And
I feel like I'm a bargain. I mean, like,
yeah,
I think it's more, it
is a bargain. And, you go into the store, there's, you go to the bargain bin and there you are.
But I mean, I got, the 34 years of experience, but not just on the retail side, but on the manufacturing side and the insurance side and, and all of those different sides that, I've probably spent millions of dollars in mistakes myself learning along the way.
Yeah.
But
now you've made the mistakes along the way for us and learned from them, right? I mean,
basically,
you've seen, so why not take advantage of that? I mean, it's a huge, like you said, it's a huge bargain at $350 for the year. You're going to encounter these issues. You can bet on it. And so why spend so much more in trying to get it, and searching for advice and searching for help and maybe getting you out of a bad contractual situation or whatever it may be, when you can,
hire me before you sign that contract, which, lately that's been happening, and I feel so much better because, we're going in with our ammunition, kind of thing, instead of, after the fact. It makes a huge difference.
Huge difference.
Huge difference.
Well, we've got some questions for you, as we usually do right here on Just Ask GiGi.
Awesome.
And we're going to do that right after this break. She's GiGi Stetler. I'm Tom Alexander. This is Just Ask GiGi. Back in a moment.
Hey, RV owners and those thinking about owning. Want to maximize the fun and minimize the hassle of buying an RV? You need GPS. It's GiGi's Personal Service. Our $350 package gets you me, the expert advice, and a host of outstanding services. Visit thervadvisor.com.
We are back on Just Ask GiGi along with GiGi Stetler. I'm Tom Alexander. And GiGi, as always, we've got a couple of questions for you, actually.
Perfect.
And the first one, I'm gonna actually ask the second question first, since it ties into a little bit of what we spoke about just in the previous segment, which is sealant. And so the question is from Carl, and Carl is a do-it-yourselfer. Carl's a do-it-yourselfer. And he said, is it a good idea for me to do the sealing myself, or should I really defer to a professional?
Absolutely, you can do it yourself if you're handy, but and if you're a member and you hire me, what I possibly would do is maybe I would have you on a video chat or FaceTime with my technician who's doing a complete seal, so that you can see exactly how it's done. And you'll save yourself some money and headaches of it not being done, because if you don't do it correctly, you're wasting your time. So there is a technique way of doing it, and some dealers don't even know how to do it. So yes, that you can definitely do it yourself, but you may want to ask the expert as far as the type of material, what type of roof and products and stuff like that, because there are different products for different parts that you're going to seal.
Right. Is there a brand that you like by chance? Is like a specific?
It's not about the brand. Like you put self-leveling lap sealant on certain areas and you Dicor on the roof. There's different products that you don't mix and match, like you wouldn't put silicone on the roof, on a rubber roof. If it's a fiberglass roof, that's a different story. So, so it just depends on the roof, what product to use when you're sealing the roof.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you for that question, Carl. And Kevin writes us, and Kevin's I believe he's in Fort Worth, Texas. And although the question is not specific to that area, but I'm assuming he means maybe in his area or possibly just in general. It's question's a little bit broad. He said, where is the best place to find technicians to repair my RV? That's the question.
I think we saw that question come in. And so depending on your area, and technicians are very hard to come by, I would look into a mobile service tech, and if you're a member, we would be happy to find one for you, and we would kind of weed them out and make sure I can certify them by certain questions and stuff like that to know if they're really handy. But if you have extended warranty or something like that, finding somebody that'll take the extended warranty. But if you get the repairs covered, if it's all called in and correctly diagnosed, and you have extended warranty, and the mobile tech doesn't take it, that you can pay the bill and get reimbursed, but you have to make sure that it's covered. And those are things that, as a member, as an RV Advisor member, we will make sure that and look at your warranty contract to make sure that it's a covered repairs. But yes, I would try to find a mobile tech, and then if you need our help, we can help to make sure that he's a qualified tech.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Kevin. We appreciate it. And if you want to ask Gigi a question right here on Just Ask Gigi, very simple. Just write us at info@thervadvisor.com. That's info@thervadvisor.com. And just in the subject line, just put Just Ask Gigi or JAG, JAG. And we'll get your question answered as quickly as we can right here on the next episode. So again, it is info@thervadvisor.com. We're going to wrap things up in just a moment. Now, these words. The RVACA is a charitable organization protecting the rights of RV owners. With your help, we'll work with dealers and manufacturers to ensure quality controls in place prior to delivery of an RV. Additionally, the RVACA provides assistance to disaster relief victims. Visit rvaca.org. Wrapping things up now on Just Ask Gigi, along with Gigi Stetler. I am Tom Alexander, and Gigi, as always, we like to let our friends, our followers, our viewers know that they can always help out in the fight against COVID, which we are in our third wave now, and we're anticipating well, let me put it this way, a challenging few months ahead. We have gotten some encouraging news about some vaccines and the mass production of them, but that's a little bit down the road, and we're still dealing with things that need to be taken care of today, tomorrow, and next week. So what does that mean? That means
stay safe. Follow the rules right now. Keep a mask on. Stay home. Don't. Thanksgiving is around the corner, and I know we all want to be with our families and this and that, but we really have to, really pay attention right now, because the last thing you want to do is get your elders sick. That's, and just, and for all you youngins out there, be careful of your parents, think about those parties and stuff that you're going to, and just, I have some close friends that their kids went out and brought it home, and the whole family's sick, and we've been battling our own staff here, in and out of sicknesses, which, luckily everyone's remote, but it's serious. So we really just pay attention and just respect others, just because you think you're safe, you know, and you're wearing a mask, you don't know. You just don't know. I mean, I have, you know, Chuck and Jimbo have had 2 negative tests and they can't get out of bed. So
It is, you know, it is real. There's no question about that. It is very real. And all of us have known people, I think at this point, almost everybody I know certainly knows is either themselves had to deal with it or they've got a family member or friend that's dealt with it. So it touches,
oh, it's scary. It went through Neve's whole family, you know, so.
Yeah, it sure did. It sure did.
And she's 29 years old. So you would think that that's not.
No, it's
down to her kids and her newborn. So
it's crazy. Yeah. Neve, of course, is our associate producer here on JAG and also on our podcast, the RVA podcast. So we know what it's like. She certainly does firsthand. But our point being that there are those folks out there, those medical personnel that are on the front lines every day. Battling this, and they need isolation. They themselves need to stay well, right? They need to make sure that they don't spread it to their own loved ones. And so what does that mean? That means that we could really use your help. If you've got an RV that you can lend temporarily to
You're putting it in storage for the winter, you know, that would be an awesome thing. And I can help out the healthcare workers. We can pay you, you know, a minimum fee through the association, through rvaca.org. Instead of letting it sit in storage, you know, let it do some good for somebody. You know, we will manage it, maintain it, make sure that it gets back to you in the same shape that it left. But across country, we could really use your help.
Absolutely. It's rvaca.org, rvaca.org. If you can help, if you've got a unit that you can spare temporarily, boy, would we appreciate it. But more than anything, those folks that really need it could appreciate it. And if you don't have a unit, a monetary donation is also wonderful. Absolutely very, very helpful in any amount. Whatever you can do would be terrific. It's rvaca.org. And also while you're there, register your unit, become a member. And
it's very important.
It really is important. And of course, our goal to get a seat at the table in Washington alongside the manufacturers, alongside the dealers as well. You, the RV owner, RV enthusiast, needs a voice there too. We're working on it. That's it, folks. By all means, visit us at the rvadvisor.com as well. That's the rvadvisor.com for all our services and some great content. We're building the site out and we're expanding every day and trying to bring you more interactive content. And you're going to see some big differences coming up in the new year. That's for sure. Anyway, that's it for another edition of Just Ask GiGi. Thank you, GiGi. Always fun.
It's always a pleasure.
She's GiGi Stetler. I'm Tom Alexander. See you next time. So long, everybody.